Another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. At this point, we're about 1 week away from Season of Discovery, and I wanted to take a look at what we know so far and deep dive a little bit into some data mining. Based on that, I want to give a massive spoiler warning. Right now, we'll be taking a look at some brand new spells, some actual class abilities that haven't really been covered so far, and even just talking about some brand new stuff that once again hasn't really been covered so far. So spoiler warning, if you want to go into Season of Discovery without any spoilers, then this is probably not the video for you. And I would even go as far as recommending going into the season knowing as little as possible, but I also know that a bunch of people like looking ahead and just knowing a little bit before it comes out, and even the spoilers I'm doing today, they're not going to make or break the game for you. There's still a bunch of things you have to discover. We're just talking about like a couple of class abilities here that hasn't really been talked about but has been data mined kind of, and you can just go to Wowhead yourself and check this up, and you can see what's been added in every single patch. So that's what I've done today. We're checking out spells that was added in patch 1.15. This is also not an original video idea, like a bunch of people are doing this, and I want to give a credit to the two people that influenced me here, and that is Hammer Dance. I've been watching a couple of his videos, especially the class videos, for example, and I also saw him data mining some stuff in some of his videos, and even Ebbenflow, a video creator, content creator that I looked up to when I made Classic WoW videos. He made Druid videos and also Druid main, so I saw a bunch of his videos back then, and those two kind of influenced me to make this one as well, based on those data mining research. And let's just get into it. That is a long intro, but hopefully by now, if you didn't want any spoilers, you have clicked away, and if you want spoilers, well, you know what you're here for. So once again, we are just checking out some abilities today, and we can start this off very simple. Curse of Elements. This one we kind of know what's coming. The really kind of cool thing here is that it says it requires Priest and requires level 60. I think you can look away from that, and I think this is going to be still a Warlock ability, and it's just put in, but I do believe Warlocks get access to Curse of Elements later in the game. So this being here in patch 1.15 and being here now, maybe suggests that either it is actually coming to Priest and being a level 60 for Priest, or it's coming earlier for Warlocks than it is right here. We also have, like, it still works the same. It's a regular Curse of Elements, right, but it's put into the game files in patch 1.15. Also, we have this one right here, Renewal. This one is a Druid ability. If you played Boomkin in like any patch after TBC, you're pretty familiar with this. It heals you for 30% of your health, and this is also data mined in patch 1.15, so at some point this is coming. I'm guessing it's gonna be like a level 30 talent, maybe 25 talent. We'll see if it's there in phase 1, but it's just like a regular healing ability, and it heals yourself for 30%. So it's a Boomkin thing. I think you can use it as anything, but it's a Boomkin talent, or it was back in the day. So really useful for farming, but for PvE purposes like raiding and stuff, I don't really know how useful it's going to be. You can't use it on anyone else, so for resto it's kind of meh, but once again really useful for farming. Now there is one thing that kind of caught my interest here, and that is this one, Imbue Wand. This one is kind of, it's weird. Gnarled Wand of Magic and imbuing a wand. You're imbuing a greater magic wand with some other item and making something else. And it says here you're making a gnarled wand of wild magic, imbuing your regular wand with wild magic. I'm kind of like, are you going to create a better wand? Like, is this going to be a level 25 bis wand? Or is it going to be like something for a quest? Maybe you have to make a wand like this for a quest, for a Mage rune, even a Warlock rune or Priest rune, any caster rune really. I don't know, this one is interesting. It just caught my interest because Imbue Wand. It could also literally be a wand enchantment. Imagine like you have weapon enchants, maybe you can have a wand enchant as well. That would be really, really interesting. But the thing is, when you're imbuing the wand here, you create an item called the Gnarled Wand of Magic, which right now Binds one picked up and is unique. It's looking like it's either a quest item or it's a placeholder for an actual wand upgrade. Don't really know, we'll have to wait and see, but once again just caught my interest. Another one that was really interesting to me personally, this is kind of just a vanity thing, but once again caught my interest. Animated Lobster Molt summons and dismisses a rideable animated lobster or a lobster molt. Increases speed by 60%. this one has to just be like, maybe it's supposed to be like with a boss fight inside BFD or something, because we're not really supposed to use mounts before level 40. We do have the mounts from Ashen Vale. Those are the mounts we have, but we don't really have any other ones, and I can't really see this one being an Ashen Vale mount, but maybe it's something to do with fishing. How cool would that be? Like, it's an Ashen Vale mount, you can only use an Ashen Vale, but you have to fish it up. That would be some really flavorful flavor to actually fishing. And also, for the icon, if I can just scroll this, it says Inv, Miscellaneous, and Fish. But once again, that's probably just the icon for the actual crab right here, so yeah. It's a lobster. It's a lobster mount, and I'm really interested to see, like, what this is, or where it's used. If it's like a regular mount we can use, get it from fishing, or if it's something to do with like a boss fight inside BFD. Next up, we have the Path of Arthas. Your connection to the light has been damaged. All holy healing you deal is decreased by 50%, but all non-holy damage you deal is now increased by 5%. This one gives you a buff, and it says here 10 seconds remaining. This one is weird. It's a buff, it's a spell, and it modifies so you deal less healing, but you also deal more damage. Could be like a reference to Shockedins, but also maybe this has to do with like a paladin rune, where someone buffs you or you get a temporary ability that you have to use to deal more damage or heal less or something for a quest. Once again, it's kind of weird because it doesn't really say it's for paladin, doesn't really have any mana associated with it. And it doesn't even say how long this is. Like, is it a 1 minute buff? It says right here on the buff 10 seconds remaining, but is this like a 10-second buff? And if so, what's the cooldown? To me, it seems like this one would be an ability that is kind of tied to a quest or to a scenario or something to get a rune, which we'll have to wait and see, but that seems like what it could be. Maybe it's part of the rune quest where you're supposed to do the exorcism, because exorcism and undead and Path of Arthas kind of fits together, I guess. So, yeah, kinda cool. Then we have the Adder Pheromone. If you're playing a hunter, you can now use your Tame Beast ability to actually tame adders as a companion pet though. There's multiple ones like these, we have the prairie dog ones and the deer ones as well, but I just wanted to mention this one, so you have at least 3 of them that you can now, we can tame more pets, but as companions. You have something called Forked Lightning, and this one strikes an enemy with a lightning bolt that arcs to another nearby enemy. The spell affects up to 0 targets, causing nature damage to each one. Now this one is supposed to affect 2 targets, so it just basically, you throw a lightning bolt and it affects several enemies, not just yourself. Once again, not really like, we don't know which class this is for. Is it for like a something else? But it's like it's a shaman thing. It's a lightning bolt, it's a shaman thing. Just makes sense, kind of looks like the lightning lasso kind of from retail, but in a different way. So Forked Lightning, kind of cool, just like casting one lightning bolt that doesn't just hit one target, but actually bounces to the next one as well. Now we're getting to the kind of cool stuff. I wanted to like ease into this and get into the more and more cool stuff as we go. We have Gale Winds, increases the damage done by your hurricane ability by 100%. It no longer has a cooldown, and the mana cost is reduced by 20%. If you wanted to be a Boomkin with massive AoE damage, here we go, this is the one for you. Boomkins are looking better and better now. Like, they were looking kind of before, like the only thing they got was the, what is it called? The one where Wrath doesn't cost any mana, the Fury of the Storm Rage, right? Now they have Gale Winds as well. We don't really know if this is a talent or if it's a rune that hasn't been data mined yet, but we know the spell is there. The spell is added in the patch. Gale Winds looking super incredible. This is looking absolutely incredible. Like, it makes me want to play a Boomkin, not even kidding. We have something called Infernal Strike. This one is for Warlocks. Leap through the air and slam down on all enemies within 8 yards of the target area, causing X amount of shadow damage, 100 in this case, and stunning them for 2 seconds. An AoE stun, absolutely insane. And if you have the Summoned Infernal, this is basically the Summoned Infernal, but without summoning an Infernal. You are the Infernal, and then you're stunning people. That's absolutely insane. Then we have Disrupt. Warlocks are getting a silence, or yeah, preventing stun cast interrupt basically. So choke your enemy with a surge of shadowy energy that deals 10 damage, interrupts spellcasting, and prevents any spell in that school from being cast for 5 seconds. How insane is that? Like, I'm so happy with being a Warlock main right now. Warlocks were already looking fantastic, and now we have Disrupt as well. 5% of base mana, requires Warlock, requires 1, level 1, and it's a Warlock ability using mana. That one with Infernal Strike, Warlocks are looking so good. I am so happy. Keeping up with some new spells, we can also go to the Mage class, in which case you have Regeneration. This one isn't really new, but I wanted to show you this one before we go into the next one, and just like reiterate, the Regeneration ability heals the target for X amount of health over 3 seconds and applies Temporal Beacon, so like it's a heal over time. They also have a brand new spell called Rapid Regen, heals the target for X amount of health over 1.5 instead of 3. Now look at the differences between these two. This one, it doesn't really say the mana cost or anything, but if you just scroll down here you can see X amount of healing and stuff, and then you have Rapid one, this one, once again, channeled 1.5 seconds, so I'm guessing this one has 32% of base mana, but it channels faster, so if you have to like heal someone really quickly before incoming damage, this one could be way better for you, but also more taxing on the actual mana it costs. Just wanted to bring that one up because now we have regular regen and rapid regen as well, and they have something called Remove Greater Curse. Requires Mage removes 1 curse and 1 harmful magic effect from a friendly target. Then you have Reintegration. Mages can actually resurrect, which I guess kind of makes sense. If they can heal, why shouldn't they be able to rest? Brings a dead player back to life with 15% health and mana, and cannot be used when in combat. Makes sense on that one, very straightforward. Then we have Boon of the Black Fathom. Actually, we have 2 of them, but 2 kind of world buffs that have been data mined so far. Boon of the Black Fathom here increases critical strike chance of spells, melee and ranged by 2%, grants 20 attack power, and increases movement speed by 20%, and it has a 120 minute duration. Then we have the Ashenvale Rallying Cry. This one I think you just, I'm just gonna make a guess here, but it's called Ashenvale Rallying Cry, increases all damage and healing done by 5% for 2 hours, and I'm guessing this is something that your faction gets if you win that battle. So on the server you have the Ashenvale PvP event. If you win, I'm guessing you get this buff, and I guess the buff only is gonna be active inside Ashenvale itself, not inside the raid. Well, hopefully not inside the raid, even though the raid is in Ashenvale. Hopefully it's only in the zone, so you can get like, it's kind of like Hellfire Peninsula. If you ever did Hellfire Peninsula back in TBC, it's kind of like that. So if you control all the bases, your faction gets a DPS increase, and I'm guessing this one is going to work the same way. Could be really cool, and could give you like an extra incentive to win the battle as well. And of course the Boon of the Black Fathom, once again, looking really strong on that one. Just like world buffs at level 25 is gonna be a good experience, so hopefully this video kind of kept you up to date. I wanted to show you the brand new abilities. The Gale Winds is looking so cool if you ask me. Infernal Strike and Disrupt as well, looking so cool. Having an Interrupt as a Warlock without having the Fell Hunter or needing the Fell Hunter, absolutely massive W. So hopefully once again the video itself wasn't really too spoily, like it doesn't really spoil too much for me. If anything, it just shows you the abilities that you're intended to have and gives you more of a clear picture of what you want to play based on the abilities you actually get. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, yeah, hopefully, and let me know which class you're gonna play in Season of Discovery. Personally, I'm planning to play a Warlock, especially now with the Disrupt ability as well. Warlocks are looking so good, but even Boomkins and Ferals, like I want to have a Warlock as a main and a Druid as an alt, which is literally what I've done for the last 2 Classic WoW releases now, so it's getting kind of like, it's something I've done in the past, but this time it's going to be way different, because every class is different. Either way, I'm rambling. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, let me know the class you're going to play in the comments down below. Subscribe for more Season of Discovery content, even Classic WoW content. Just subscribe, just sub, hit the bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.